Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the most thrilling dramas unfolding on your screens. Today is a fantastic day to unpack the explosive secrets and simmering tensions that are keeping us all on the edge of our seats. Grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let us unravel the tangled webs of deception and passion that are about to change everything in the lives of our favorite characters. The sterile, unforgiving atmosphere of a hospital room often serves as the ultimate crucible for human emotion, a place where the fragile line between life and death forces the darkest secrets to the surface. This is precisely the harrowing reality currently facing Bill Hamilton. The events that transpired on Monday, August 10, were nothing short of catastrophic. Bill did not just face a minor medical scare, he looked death directly in the eyes multiple times. Surviving such a profound, multi-layered brush with mortality leaves an indelible mark on a man's soul. As he lies in that clinical bed, surrounded by the rhythmic, haunting beeping of heart monitors and the heavy scent of antiseptic, Bill is entirely stripped of his usual defenses. The physical trauma of nearly losing his life repeatedly in a single day is matched only by the crushing psychological weight of the secrets he harbors. When a person is pushed to the absolute edge of existence, the lies they tell themselves and others begin to suffocate them, setting the stage for a dramatic, inevitable reckoning. Into this deeply vulnerable and highly pressurized environment walks Andre Richardson. Andre's arrival at the hospital is not marked by the gentle sympathy of a concerned friend. Rather, it is heavy with an undeniable, suffocating tension. The air in the room instantly grows colder the moment Andre steps through the door. Andre is carrying an immense burden of exhaustion, a profound weariness born from dealing with Bill's constant, chaotic presence in his life. He has reached his absolute breaking point. The patience he may have once possessed has completely evaporated, replaced by a stern, uncompromising demand for boundaries. Andre is sick and tired of Bill continuously hovering around his life, creating ripples of instability that threaten to capsize everything Andre holds dear. This hospital visit is not a courtesy call. It is a calculated confrontation designed to draw a line in the sand that Bill dare not cross again. The focal point of Andre's intense frustration and his sternest warning centers entirely around one woman, Danny Dupree. Andre is uncompromising in his directive, demanding that Bill stay far away from Danny. The sheer intensity of Andre's warning suggests a deeply complicated web of emotions and past grievances. He looks down at the weakened man in the hospital bed and delivers an ultimatum cloaked as advice, insisting that Bill needs to lean exclusively on the support of his wife, Haley Hamilton, during this critical recovery period. Andre's insistence that Bill focus solely on his marriage is a desperate attempt to restore order to a situation that is rapidly spiraling out of control. But Andre's demands are striking a nerve far deeper than he could possibly realize, brushing dangerously close to a truth that could incinerate all of their lives. The underlying reason for Bill's undeniable, magnetic pull toward Danny Dupree is rooted in a night of chaotic, uncontrollable natural and emotional forces. It is the ultimate, explosive secret, a passionate, forbidden one-night stand that occurred while a terrifying tornado raged outside. As the literal storm tore through the landscape, tearing down physical structures and uprooting trees, a metaphorical storm of infidelity tore through Bill's moral compass. In the heat of that terrifying night, boundaries were obliterated, and Bill and Danny crossed a line from which there is no return. Now, as Bill lies incapacitated in his hospital bed, the memory of that night during the tornado plays on a continuous, tormenting loop in his mind. The guilt is eating him alive, compounded exponentially by the fact that he was just given a second chance at life. Near-death experiences have a profound way of demanding honesty, forcing a man to question whether he can continue living a lie after being spared by the universe. This incredibly volatile situation forces us to ask some short, thought-provoking questions to pique curiosity. Who is lying? What secret is about to be revealed? Which character might betray their loved one in the next episode? To answer the question of who is lying, we must look at the intricate masks these characters wear every single day. Bill is living a monumental lie, projecting the image of a man committed to his recovery and his marriage, while internally suffocating under the weight of his infidelity. Danny is lying through omission, carrying the burden of the tornado affair while navigating her daily interactions as if the world has not fundamentally shifted beneath her feet. But perhaps the most dangerous deception is occurring just outside the hospital room in the seemingly polished and perfect world of Bill's wife, Haley Hamilton. Haley presents herself as the devoted, loving spouse, standing vigil by her husband's side after his terrifying ordeal. However, there is a much darker, far more calculating side to Haley that is just beginning to bleed through her carefully constructed facade. This brings us to the intense, deeply psychological conflict brewing between Haley Hamilton and Caroline Lee, Bill's fiercely loyal assistant. The dynamic between these two women is a masterclass in shifting loyalties and corporate espionage. There was a time, not so long ago, when Haley and Caroline were genuine friends. They shared confidences, supported one another, and navigated the complexities of Bill's demanding life as a united front. But that friendship has completely disintegrated, replaced by a chilling, palpable hostility. Caroline, with her unparalleled access to Bill's professional and personal life, has begun to notice the subtle, terrifying red flags in Haley's behavior. She is seeing past the tears of the concerned wife and recognizing the cold, manipulative tactics of a woman who is executing a hidden agenda. The environment between Haley and Caroline has devolved into a high-stakes, incredibly dangerous cat-and-mouse game. Every interaction is laced with double meanings. Every casual conversation is an interrogation in disguise. Caroline is meticulously observing Haley's every move, noting discrepancies in her stories, tracking her unusual requests, and analyzing the subtle ways Haley is attempting to control the narrative surrounding Bill's hospitalization. Haley, in turn, is acutely aware that Caroline is onto her. The manipulative wife is constantly testing the assistant, laying traps, and attempting to intimidate Caroline into submission without ever explicitly stating her threats. It is a psychological war of attrition, fought in the hushed corridors of the hospital and the sterile environment of the corporate office. The burning question remains: will the assistant be able to gather the definitive information needed to expose Haley's plot? Caroline is walking a terrifying tightrope. If she digs too deep and is discovered before she has irrefutable proof, Haley possesses the power and the influence to completely destroy Caroline's career and reputation. But Caroline's loyalty to Bill, especially now that he is lying vulnerable and incapacitated, is driving her to take massive risks. She is sifting through documents, monitoring communications, and putting the puzzle pieces together. The secret that is about to be revealed might not just be Bill's infidelity. It could be a devastating revelation about Haley's true intentions. Is Haley plotting a financial takeover while Bill is weak? Is she orchestrating a scenario where she gains absolute control over his life and assets? The collision course between Bill's impending confession and Haley's exposure is guaranteed to create shockwaves that will shatter their entire world. While the hospital room and the corporate office serve as battlegrounds for these bitter conflicts, another compelling storyline is unfolding that highlights the deep emotional bonds of friendship. The superstar couple, Ashley Morgan and Grayson Perez, find themselves consumed by a profound, agonizing worry for a friend who is facing severe, undisclosed issues. The contrast between Ashley and Grayson's glamorous, highly public superstar lifestyle and their grounded, genuine concern for their loved one adds a beautiful layer of humanity to the narrative. Despite having the world at their fingertips, their wealth and status cannot shield them from the universal pain of watching someone they care about suffer. They are pacing the floors of their luxurious home, their minds racing with potential solutions and desperate desires to intervene. The identity of this troubled friend remains a tantalizing mystery, opening the door for countless dramatic possibilities. Could their friend be Caroline Lee, who has confided in the superstar couple about the terrifying cat-and-mouse game she is playing with the ruthless Haley Hamilton? If so, Ashley and Grayson might use their immense resources and connections to help Caroline secure the evidence she needs, providing her with a safety net against Haley's inevitable retaliation. Or perhaps the friend in trouble is Danny Dupree, who is crumbling under the emotional devastation of the tornado affair and the harsh warnings from Andre Richardson. Ashley and Grayson could offer Danny a sanctuary, a place to escape the suffocating judgment of her peers while she decides whether to confess her sins. There is even the possibility that their concern is directed toward Bill himself, recognizing that his near-death experience has triggered a psychological collapse that requires intervention far beyond standard medical care. How the superstar couple can help this friend will undoubtedly involve leveraging their unique position in society. Ashley and Grayson possess the power to move mountains. Whether that means hiring the best private investigators to aid Caroline, securing top-tier legal and psychological support for Danny, or simply using their influence to shield their friend from public scrutiny. Their involvement guarantees that the stakes will be raised even higher, introducing a level of power and visibility that could either save their friend or inadvertently amplify the destruction. As we look toward the immediate future of these intertwined lives, the question of which character might betray their loved one in the next episode becomes agonizingly prevalent. The pressure cooker environment of the hospital room is practically begging for a betrayal. Bill, overwhelmed by the trauma of his near-death experience and the relentless guilt of his actions, might finally break down and betray Haley by confessing to his passionate night with Danny during the tornado. Such a confession, delivered from a hospital bed, would be a devastating blow that could push Haley's manipulative tendencies into outright warfare. Alternatively, the betrayal could come from Caroline. In her desperate bid to protect Bill and expose Haley, Caroline might cross a legal or ethical line, betraying the trust of her employer to secure the smoking gun she needs to take Haley down. Even Andre Richardson is perfectly positioned to commit a betrayal. Driven by his absolute exhaustion and his desperate need to rid his life of Bill's chaotic presence, Andre might bypass Bill entirely and reveal the truth about Danny to Haley himself. A betrayal of that magnitude would not only destroy Bill's marriage but would also permanently sever whatever fragile connection remains between Andre and Bill. Every single character is standing on a precipice, holding a secret or an agenda that possesses the power to obliterate the lives of the people they claim to love. The brilliance of this narrative lies in its relentless, suffocating tension. The physical storm of the tornado has long passed, but the emotional destruction it left in its wake is only just beginning to surface. The sterile hospital room where Bill Hamilton fights for his recovery is the epicenter of a massive, impending explosion. The monitors continue to beep, tracking the heartbeat of a man who is living on borrowed time and borrowed truths. The cat-and-mouse game between Haley and Caroline accelerates, with every passing moment bringing the loyal assistant closer to a revelation that could change the power dynamics forever. And through it all, Ashley and Grayson stand ready to deploy their superstar influence to save a friend from drowning in this sea of deception. The stage is immaculately set for a series of confrontations that will leave audiences breathless. The lies are too heavy to carry, the secrets are too explosive to contain, and the impending betrayals are too devastating to avoid. As the characters navigate this treacherous landscape, they will be forced to confront the darkest parts of themselves and the terrifying consequences of their actions. The storm is no longer outside, it is raging within their hearts, and when the truth finally breaks free, absolutely nothing will ever be the same again.